Fan of Punch Breakdown, installment number 23. Plenty of great guesses this week. Less guesses than the last couple weeks, actually. But that's okay because you guys got it right. You guys got the right guess this week. Now, so many comments, so little time, so much lineup. I forget who was right. So claim your victory here for predicting the right guess. I haven't even said it yet, James. What are you talking about? This week's Fan of Punch Breakdown is Angela Lee, the unstoppable one championship atomweight champion of the world, takes on Stamp Fairtex at some point this year. This one gonna be a good one, everybody. Get yourselves ready. All right. Give it away to Rue and James for their Angela Lee guesses. As we pull it on up now, get on into it. For Angela Lee, clinch entries. Let's begin, shall we? This is not a prediction or ghost favoring a certain fighter. These are tendencies we should watch out for when Angela Lee fights. Opponent moves towards Lee's rear hand in a neutral stance. Body kick lands since the opponent circled into Lee's tracks. Punching off the kick is a good tactic since the opponent has to react to the kick before defending the punch. Take note how each of Lee's clinches, excuse me while I back up, Lee's clinches happen when her opponent's back is near the cage. Left hook acts as an entry into the clinch. Instead of consolidating her position in the clinch, Lee goes for the classic head and arm throw, unfortunately. Lands in the classic scarf hold. An opponent that knows what they are doing can take the back with ease from this position. We hear about it every time on commentary, Ghost. But good to highlight. On the tracks. Switch step left straight. Step in right straight to follow retreating opponent. Lead hook on the opponent's high guard. Rear body kick while the opponent retreats. On the tracks. Choo-choo. Lead hook to enter the clinch, taking out the opponent's back near the cage as Lee enters. Opponent has double underhooks. Lee responds by widening her base and separating her hips to improve her position in the clinch. While double underhooks is advantageous for the opponent, small adjustments like these help Lee to look to consolidate and even improve her position in the future. Opponent has double underhooks, so Lee establishes a head post in the clinch. For those that don't know, a head post is the top of your head underneath the chin of another fighter in the clinch. It's a good idea to throw kicks near the cage as the opponent squares themselves up, thus limiting their options. Lee throws a body kick while the opponent is squared off. Here against Mei Yamaguchi, Lee blades her base to feed her opponent the single, and begins to establish a whizzer to defend the single leg. Lee consolidates the clinch by widening her base after defending the single. Lee enters with a jab straight on the tracks. Lee is able to get the double collar tie when her opponent decides to exchange after hitting Lee in the chest. Also, take note that Lee's clinch entries happen when her opponent's back is near the cage. Take note of the position of the opponent in relation to the cage when Lee initiates an exchange. Level change forces the opponent to back up towards the cage, losing more area of retreat. Right hook eliminates the remaining space that the opponent needs for a linear retreat. Lack of retreating space for the opponent allows Lee to inadvertently headbutt on the clinch entry. Back is near the cage, as Lee is on the tracks. Two contexts where Lee likes to enter the clinch. Catching kicks is a hard skill to master. However, in this context, it becomes easy since the low kick is initiated on the tracks. Naked low kicks on the tracks or naked body kicks to the closed side of on the tracks are two of the easiest kicks to catch in all of fighting since they are easily seen. Lee pushes into her opponent past her base. Since the opponent's head, center of mass, is past the base, she becomes completely off balanced. Almost lands a knee there. Nice and legal. As Lee secures a front headlock after sprawling over the opponent's panic shot. Opponent's back is near the cage. Lee is on the tracks. Lee enters with a front kick and a hook from the same side. Lee drops her base to consolidate the over-under clinch. Back to the cage. Lee on the tracks. Lee enters with her favorite left hook overhand combo when she has her opponent backing up. This forces her opponent to clinch up, which is exactly what Lee wants. Lee takes advantage of the clinch by driving her opponent to the cage and getting her hips and base outside the opponent's hips. Lee gets hip separation to land a knee. Back to the cage on the tracks here in the Zhang Jingnan first fight. One of the best fights of all time. Opponent is forced to clinch after Lee enters. Hip separation as well as single collar tie and bicep tie allows Lee to land a clinch knee while breaking the opponent's posture. Kablamo! Clinch knee lands. Overhook and palm underneath opponent's chin allows Lee to reverse the position. The overhook connects Lee and her opponent while the palm underneath the chin breaks the opponent's posture. Hand under the opponent's chin creates hip separation. Lee also has her hips outside her opponent, giving her the perfect angle to land a knee. Oh, that fight was too good, man. Jingnan uses an interesting tactic as soon as she gets on the fence. She squares up Lee by moving to the left as Lee comes in. On the fence, shoulder to shoulder, since we can't see the feet. You know what? This is a little bit of a panda breakdown as well, huh? A little bit in there. Some sprinkles of the champ in this breakdown, huh? Jingnan squares up Lee and lands a beautiful body jab. So we got two guys getting the predictions right here. There were some Panda predictions. We are big fans of fighters that can hook off the body jab. Even though this is not a Jingnan breakdown, this is still cool. Right as I say that. Lee walks forward to initiate the clinch when her opponent takes her off the tracks. This is a tendency Stamp Fairtex might try to exploit. Jingnan lands a knee to the body as Lee is fighting for the bicep tie in the head post. All these elements allow Lee to push Jingnan to the cage. Jingnan might have landed a good knee, but this position gives Lee an advantage. Back that up. Head post, as you can see, circled. Bicep tie, the overhook, and hip separation. Keep it separated. Lee drops her level to prepare a knee. Jingnan checks Lee's knee with her own. When Lee is on the tracks and her opponent's back is near the fence, you can expect her to strike into the clinch in a straight line. Hold up. Missed the things here. This is good for Lee since her opponents only have three options. 1, counter strike step out to the side door, like Jingnan tried. 2, accept the clinch. 3, sidestep to the left or the right. We know that Stamp is very good at punching fighters that enter on the tracks, but has trouble when the fighter changes positions before and after exchanges. See Stamp versus Dana Todd, for example. Jingnan still got clinched up and taken down, but she made Lee's clinch entries difficult by getting on the fence and squaring Lee up, which forced Lee to chase the clinch instead of strike into it. Do you think Stamp can make Lee work to get the clinch like Jingnan did? That is the question. And a good one. Ghost. Got me a good bit more excited for that fight. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't know. Obviously, we'll find out, but Stamp making Lee work to get to the clinch like Jingnan. I don't think we've seen enough evidence so that she can do that in past fights, but I guess, against Ritu was good enough. It was good enough of an example of a taste right before this fight will happen, but I don't know. It just seems hard for me to imagine her replicating that the same way Jingnan did. Because it's Jingnan, but I think it's certainly possible. Ghost. I can't. It's tough for me to give a definitive answer on that, but because it's Angela Lee as well, who, I mean, I don't know if she'll have. I think she'll have more success than Ritu, I guess. Let's put it that way. So Stamp can, but will she? I'm gonna say no right now. Even though Angela, we have no idea how she'll come back from pregnancy. She's been inactive, all that kind of thing. I'm gonna believe in her because the Lees are obvious fucking freaks. In a good way, that's a compliment. Freaks of nature, athletes, fighters. So another one in the books. Panda Punch breakdown number 23. Hope you enjoyed.